Hey everybody, me again. Today I'm going to show you a little bit about headers. Going to share some information with you. Primary tube lengths, and these are the headers I'm building for Jerry's car, stepped headers. There's all kinds of information out there on optimal length for the primary tubes and where the step's supposed to be and everything else, and there's no sense for me to get into that. I just want to show you how I do it low buck. I'm don't have a bunch of fancy fixtures. I've been doing these forever, so I'm pretty good at eyeballing stuff versus other guys who measure. There's kits out there to mock up tubing and all that stuff, and I'm sure that's great for beginners, but I'm not a beginner. But what I wanted to do is show you some of the tips and tricks that I do to build a good set of headers. So I'm not saying great, I'm just saying good. I mean, there's guys out there that build headers for a living and they're beautiful, works of art. And there's also guys out there that build headers out there that are beautiful works of art that I've had repair because they didn't build them right. So I'm just saying. First and foremost, welding headers, TIG welding. Got to use a comparable rod. The tubing I use I get from Stainless Headers. Their kits, they have like a builder's kit that you can buy with removable collectors or weld-on collectors, any size. I won't build mild steel headers anymore because for what it costs, it doesn't make any sense to build a set of headers that only lasts 4 years. If I'm building an economy style car, and I've talked about this before, I'll find a set of headers and build around them. So, the customer is spending $300 or $400 or even $800 on a set of headers versus these that are a minimum of $1,200. I've got, like in Jerry's car, less collectors, I've got over $1,100 in materials. A lot of money. So, why would you want to spend $800 in materials and mild steel and have it rust out in 4 years? Then you got to coat them and everything else. These here, just hit them with a little bit of Scotch-Brite and they clean right up. So, like I say, I'm going to talk a little bit about this and some of the little things I do. Maybe it'll help you, maybe it won't, but I figured I'd share. That's what this is all about. Here goes. This is the right side header for Jerry's car. And you can see, like in some of these places, like this is the step. This is an 1 7/8" tube into 2. And then the collector is a form collector. And they do make a difference in power. Believe it or not, those things are faster than a regular weld-on collector. I try to keep all my primary lengths the same, or as close as I can. Because of my age, I've been able to, in my lifetime, visit with some very reputable header manufacturers / builders. Some have passed, some haven't. But a lot of the guys that I talked to are out of the business, older than me, retired. Comment from one of the very good header builders told me, you're building a chassis type header. If the tubes are within 3 to 4 inches, you've got a pretty good header. He said you won't see, minimal change on dynos. You can get everything perfect. And these are close. These are within a couple inches, I'm sure. But then you're still working in the confines of this car. So, could you build a $3,000 set of headers? Yeah, but like I've said before, this is all about, not trying to rip the customer off. I do things in my shop that other people wouldn't do, like I MIG weld my chassis together because they're mild steel, and I only do that for the simple fact that it saves the customer some money. Granted, there's TIG welding on it, like this down bar here. It's chromoly, it's TIG welded into the mild steel frame. But mild steel to mild steel, the frame stuff, usually I MIG weld it together just to save time. So how I start this is I usually start with number 1 tube, and I make them rotate in the collector clockwise. Number 1's on the inside, number 2, and I'm just counting back. This, we know this is 2, 4, 6, 8 on a Chevy, but the number 1 tube goes on the inside bottom, number 2 on the outside bottom, number 3 outside top, and then number 4 goes on the inside top. And as you can see, I got a bit of a curve in that to add some length to that tube. So if there was a street rod that didn't matter, I'd have come straight out and made them look like a set of roadster headers, but this ain't. This is a real race car. So I mock up the flanges first. As you can see on this side, these are, you know, like 1 7/8", 2 inch, so you use the stall type adapter flanges. And then I've got a stand here, I'll try to show you this, that holds the collector, okay? As you can see, the collector clamps on with the hose clamp there. I set those both at the same angle and try to locate them pretty close to the same place on the car, and then I'll build my first tube into that, you know. Then once the first tube's done, it just sort of stiffens everything up, makes it easy. So let me show you the first tube on this side. I got this done, it's welded, I haven't cleaned it up yet. If you'll notice, there's a plastic tube going into the end of this header. There's a plug there, and then there's a plug on this end. And that hooks up to a dual stage regulator on my torch. This side here is for the purging. This one goes to the welder for the torch. It's called back gas purging. If you don't back gas purge stainless when you weld it, it sugars on the inside and it can crack from the inside. So what I do, like I say, I back gas purge everything. You can use plugs or you can use metal duct tape. You know, sometimes I'll use metal duct tape to tape the ends up. They only need about 10 cubic feet an hour. Like I say, I use the same material to fuse or to weld with. Yeah, I see I'm losing track here, so I got too much stuff going on. Like my welding wire is the same, it's 304 too. So then over here, this is how I cut them. I want you to see this dealio. I made this little fixture on my saw with this radius, and I can measure my angle, and then I can turn this on here and cut, and it cuts through the center of the radius of the tube. So pretty simple fixture. This is just 1/8 inch by 2 inch flat stock that I curved to fit on the inside, and I've got several of those jigs. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that, fill you in a little. I'll catch up with you shortly. Thanks for watching.